Hello, and welcome to another video. I think this is going to be a writing vlog. This is going to be like a writing vlog, life vlog. This week, I really want to focus all of my energy as much as possible on writing. If you don't know, my name is Megan, and I am currently in school studying to be a library technician. And currently, I have 3 weeks off. I'm entering my third week off of school, where my goal has been to focus on writing as much as possible. That did not happen last week. Last week, bit of a failure. I wrote for only 3 days. I have not written for 4 days. That has been rough, but I wanted to be fully transparent. Want this week to be writing as much as possible. I want to focus all my energy on it. I want to see how many words I can get down. I kind of want to make up for the lost time because I really still want to finish my draft by the end of November. End of the year. I'm giving myself about 2 weeks of a grace period in December. So here's hoping, but this week is definitely going to be focusing as much as possible on just like getting into my story. I am currently writing a adult horror book. I've written a previous book before that's just kind of sitting, waiting to have something done with it. Really, I'm just taking a break from it and I'm trying to write something completely different, and it's going swimmingly, minus the fact that I took 4 days off. Also got a new mug. I feel like I'm always showing you a new mug, but this one is actually new. I got it yesterday for half price, and oh my God, it's so cute, so spooky. This week's also just gonna be a really fun time because it's Halloween week. It's the perfect cozy weather. I do have to get back in the groove of things a little bit this week because I do have some schoolwork that is due pretty much immediately early next week. So I am gonna try to organize my time a little bit. But for now, I have a delicious breakfast sandwich. I have my vitamins, essential. And I'm just gonna get into writing. So let's get into it, get cozy, and let's start this week and see what happens. I feel like the sirens really added an intensity there that I didn't necessarily want, but let's get into it. I am certainly having one of those days where everything I write feels like it sucks so badly, and I hate it. I've only been doing this for like an hour, and it feels like I've been doing it for 3 days. All I want to do is stop, but I'm gonna keep going because these feelings pass, and this is why I really like having bare minimum Mondays in my life, where I just take the stress off of Monday to set the tone for the rest of the week, because I find Monday and Tuesdays are quite difficult energy-wise, and to put so much pressure on the beginning of the week to set the tone for the rest of the week is just not productive, which means I just have to do the bare minimum of things, just check off what I can on my to-do list and not try to make it this big thing of like the start of a new week. I keep telling myself that I can't fix this story until it is done because I don't know what it is going to turn into. With my first book, the first draft was completely different than what the story is now, and that is because my readers that read it really liked certain elements and wanted to see more of it, and it turned into something that I really cherish and love, and that is so likely going to happen with this story. It's just I just need to finish it first. Today it just feels impossible because it just feels like everything I write is just terrible, and I just don't have it in me, but that is okay. I know that there's going to be a day coming up where I'm just having such a good time with it, where I feel really proud, and it's all just part of the emotional cycle of creating something. Powering through, I'm going to do this until 2, and then I'm gonna go to the gym. But I will sit here until 2 and try to write as many words as possible. I quit writing. I wrote like 1,400 words, but overall my total word count for the day has been close to like 5K. But that's just because I've been moving scenes that I've previously written back into my main manuscript, because if you don't know, if this is your first time watching, I wrote almost 20K of this manuscript and then just basically started from scratch. I just realized I'm not wearing my rings because I take my rings off when I go to the gym. So my hands feel naked. I don't like it. So that word count being close to like 5K is not actually words that I've written. It's just words that I've previously written that I've added. But actual words that I wrote are like 1,400, and that is my main goal, and I'm happy with that. Fine, it's whatever. It was really hard today, but I was talking to a writing friend of mine this morning, and I was saying how hard today is and how much I'm hating it, and it's just like a day where everything sucks. And she was saying, is it maybe worthwhile to start working on other types of writing work? Because, you know, there are other types of writing work other than just laying down words. Obviously, there's research, there's brainstorming, there's all kinds of things that you could do that I think are writing work, but aren't necessarily writing the story. So she was just gently asking me, is this maybe a day where we don't do that? Do we focus on other things? And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, you know what? No, it's not. And I think that I've gotten really good at being able to tell the difference between actually being stuck and being what I like to call anxiety stuck, which is avoiding doing hard things because it's not fun, because it's hard, because your anxiety is lying to you, because all of those things. I've gotten really good at telling the difference between avoidance because the thing is hard and actually being stuck. And to be completely blunt, the only way to figure that out is just to write regularly. If you write regularly enough, you get really good at knowing when you're avoiding doing the hard thing because you don't feel like you're good enough, because all of the lies that you're telling yourself, or you actually need to work on something because something is sticking. And for me, today was definitely an avoidance day. And it's mainly because I took so much time off, and I think that I'm really good at feeling disappointed when days don't feel like they should. When it's a Monday and I'm ready to go and I want to write, and then I sit down and it's actually hard, and oh my gosh, it's so hard and I don't want to do this anymore. And so I tell myself to stop and I tell myself to avoid. That's why the most annoying writing advice is the most true, which is to just write and write regularly enough, because you get to know yourself, you get to know your creative process, you get to know your mind a little bit more. And it makes it a little bit easier to get through days like today. So that's the day. That's today. I've already texted my friend because I really want to write at a coffee shop tomorrow, because I think a change of scenery will help. I'm gonna get all dressed up, get all ready for a cozy coffee date all day, and just try to write as much as possible. Tomorrow I'm gonna focus on working through some of the scenes that I've previously written to just make them work for this draft a little bit more. There are moments and lines and paragraphs that I really like, but the overall plot needs to change ever so slightly, and I need to work on introducing a new character, because there's a new character that needs to be introduced very briefly. He's very important to my main character. The gym was fine. I'm glad that I powered through, and I'm just ready for a night of a big ol' cozy, healthy curry and reading my book. So writing went really, really well today, exceptionally well. I managed to write over 3,100 words and like actually wrote them, which just feels amazing. I was just really in the zone, and I think being at a new place really helped get that energy moving. And I'm really, really excited to start again tomorrow. But really quickly, it's Halloween night. There are a few ways I celebrate Halloween. One is gathering with friends, which I did on the weekend. Another is going for a walk in the neighborhood with Tom to see all the trick-or-treaters, which we've already done. And then there's other things that I do every Halloween, and I don't really know why. They're a little wooey. One is I almost always bake something that is essential to me, and today I actually baked my first sourdough. I don't have a picture of it because it's half eaten already. We really, really like bread in this house, but it turned out really well. I've had my starter for a few years now, and I freeze it every summer and it always bounces back. So that was really good. Bake something, always key. And the second thing is a little bit wooey, but I don't know if you can see, Tom and I every year do a little bit like a New Year kind of ritual where we pull some tarot and then we write down some things that we want to let go of in the next few months, in the resting season. In the season where we turn inward, we like to really reflect on the things that we can kind of let go of. We've done this for a few years now, and it's just really fun. It's just like a kind of end of the year check-in of how things are going. Last year, for instance, I wrote down that I wanted to let go of the feeling that I was a failure, and I feel like I did really well this year. I feel like that really helped me. So I'm trying really hard to think about what I can let go of this season, and I have a feeling it has to do with writing. This is, again, I'm not really like a spiritual person, but for some reason this ritual just like really works for me. I have all of the elements represented, or at least I always try to. I have a candle I'm going to light for fire. I've got some crystals. I'm not really a crystal person. I just like really pretty rocks. I don't really get much of an energy from them individually other than just being in awe of how cool this earth is. We have the paper that we're going to write what we're going to let go of. I have this really, really fantastic feather that I found maybe a few months ago. I don't even know where I found it, but it's really, really special, and my cat is hovering because she loves it. We've got some plant life sprouting here, new sprouts for soil and the earth as well. And then normally I have a diffuser, but ours broke, so I just really have a cup of water. Very exciting. So we're going to pull our tarot cards. We're going to probably do a past, present, and future, and then we're going to do some thinking. We're going to think about the things that we want to let go of, write them down, set them on fire safely, very safely, immediately throw them in the water, like immediately. And that's it. That's all. I just really, really like rituals surrounding reflection. My cat is attacking the feather right now. You're not supposed to. She's not a very good familiar. Or is she the best familiar? I don't know. Stop it. Okay, so I'm gonna get to it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Happy Halloween! Okay, hi for real now. I find it impossible. First of all, I have washed my bangs, which is why my hair looks like this. I'm just about to get ready. I'm gonna go to a coffee shop again today because I just had such solid success yesterday writing at the coffee shop. So I'm gonna go again, but I'm gonna go to a different one because I really wanna go to the gym today. And I also have some schoolwork that I really, really, really need to get to. I've been putting it off. I can't believe I'm halfway through my last week off. These last 3 weeks have just flown by. I mean, I knew they would, but I'm so sad. I don't want to go back to the world of responsibility. I just want to stay in this nice little place I've created for myself. It's November 1st, and I'm so excited that it is November. This is my favorite time of year, and as you can tell by all of the clips from this morning, I just try so hard to capture the beauty that is this year with the frosty rooftops and the super, super cold, crisp air that somehow makes everything clear. And all of the colors, I just love the colors. The sunrises and the sunsets this time of year are just so bright and orange and beautiful, and I love it. And we're approaching daylight savings. I could really just go on about this time of year, but I'm just so happy that it's November. It's my favorite month. I got married in November for a reason, because I love it, and it's just a really special time of year for me. Tom has been really encouraging me to go to coffee shops because it's just the best writing that I get done, because I think he sees the impact that it has on my writing, and I'm really, really jazzed about that, because it's really hard to swallow buying a coffee all the time. But this November, I'm also challenging myself to read all of Poe's works. I have the complete Tales and Poems of Poe, and I just started today. I just read the introduction, and my gosh, what a life that man had. But I'm really excited. I read a bunch of him when I was in high school. I remember loving him in high school, but I haven't read any as an adult. So I've also been on a really big makeup kick lately. I don't know why. I really wanted to wear more makeup than I normally do, and my skin and my eyes seem to be okay with it. So I don't think I'm gonna do a full face because I am going to the gym later, so I don't even think I'm gonna do mascara. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll do a little bit of mascara just to liven it up a little bit. Maybe a little mascara and a little bit of lip. I pretty much only ever do mascara and a lip. But yesterday I was feeling like the full eyeshadow situation. It was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna do too much because I'm just gonna have to take it off before I work out, because I absolutely hate working out with makeup on. I cannot do it. I'm just feeling so stressed because I've put off all of my schoolwork for so long, and this weekend is our first wedding anniversary, and I really don't want to have to do any schoolwork this weekend. So I'm gonna try really hard to work on it today. Oh, there's a car alarm going off. Yesterday with writing, I was on such a roll, and I had such a great time. I'm really, really excited to get back to it today. I'm so curious what today is gonna be like. If it's good, that's fantastic. If it's rough, it's also okay. I'm here to just like move through all of the sticky feelings. It's not even that my mirrors are dirty. It's just that this place gets so dusty. You wouldn't even know that we vacuumed twice a week. Okay, that's it. That's all. I'm gonna get dressed. I'm gonna get dressed in like sweats because I'm going to the gym, but I'm excited for writing today. Let's see what happens. This is such a chatty vlog. I haven't really filmed any B-roll because I've just been like lumping around. Nothing really has been too interesting beyond writing. This week has been pretty much defined by listening to the new Blink-182 album and also getting back into Taylor Swift. I'm like a casual Swiftie. I feel like I'm surrounded by Swifties, but I am not really a massive Swiftie. I think she's a genius. I totally get why she is as popular as she is. I just don't really listen to her music as often as like other people do. But anyway, this is a long-winded way of saying I'm listening to Midnights a lot, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And also the new Blink-182 album is just wonderful. So I don't know why I just told you that, but pretty much other than that, this is what life has been. It's just been getting up, reading, journaling, and writing. So I guess let's stop puttering around and let's go get a double shot soy cappuccino from the best coffee place in Toronto. And I mean that. I've been to a lot of coffee shops in Toronto, and this is the only coffee shop other than Crete's. Crete's yesterday was really, really good, but the coffee shop that I'm going to right now just doesn't have that bitter, sour taste that so many independent coffee places have in Toronto. I don't consider myself a coffee connoisseur. I don't know what makes a good coffee. I couldn't tell you about the various flavors of coffee, but I will say that I just love this place. Thrilling content. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to writing. I'm so cozy right now. I'm just procrastinating at this point. Also, look at my makeup in better lighting. I feel like this is way better lighting than having it behind me, but fresh-faced and ready to party. Writing was good today, but I had to finish early because I have to do my schoolwork and I really don't want to, but I have to. So I'm gonna eat my very beige lunch with just leftovers from last night because we just had a bunch of finger foods last night. And then I'm gonna go to the gym just to move, and then I'm gonna settle in and do some schoolwork. I really don't want to. I've realized while I was writing that my draft is going to be super, super short. I will be lucky if I get to 50K on this draft, and that's great. That's exactly what I wanted, but it is a little daunting to have such a short first draft. I'm really just trying to focus on the story, and we'll see what it expands into. We'll see what is interesting once the story is done, and we'll see what I need to work on, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot. So I'm proud of myself. I'm really glad. I was really aiming to have a short draft, and I feel like it's gonna happen. I feel like it's possible. So being done by the end of November is definitely an achievable dream. Oh, hey there, pardon the gym hair, but I just got back from working out and, you know, just being so buff, just being as buff as possible. I really want to reorganize this because it's gotten really messy. It's not that messy, but it's messy enough now that it's kind of bothering me because it's supposed to be my like cozy corner and it's just a mess now. All right. Well, is it perfect? No, but I like it so much better because while it's no longer really color coordinated, nor do the genres necessarily add up because we have some historical fiction over here and then we have some tucked in back there. It's fine. It's fine because all of my TBR books are here now, which I much prefer because I almost exclusively use these two things every single morning. I will be reading Edgar Allan Poe every single morning, and I'm currently reading this book. And so I feel like having it all here just makes perfect sense. If you hear noises, it's this guy rummaging around in his toy box for a toy. What will he pick? I do not know. Okay, let's get cozy. Let's get a little cozy. I mean, I'm just holding the camera, so I can't really get any more cozy than I am now. But I want to talk very briefly about my TBR for November and the books that I want to read. So as I said, I'm currently reading this book. It is phenomenal. The writing is exquisite. It's heartbreaking. I am really glad that I'm reading it. And I kind of feel like November is going to be a month of historical fiction for me. I don't know why. I'm just in the biggest mood to read historical fiction. It was actually really eye-opening when I did this rearrange of my bookshelves, which is a video on my channel if you want to check it out. But it was really eye-opening how many historical fiction books I had, but that I haven't actually read yet, because I used to love reading historical fiction. I almost exclusively read historical fiction. I don't read a whole lot of it anymore. So November, I'm really, really feeling like, sorry, you can't see him, but he's so sweet right now. You're so sweet. I'm really feeling like diving into all of the historical fiction possible on my shelf. And so that's what I did. That's what I pulled out. So I have a couple here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to them all, because this one in particular is massive. Not only is it massive, it has quite small font. It's basically like another War and Peace. It's really, really big. This follows, I believe, 3 generations of a family all throughout Russian history, with a particular focus on the Russian Revolution. This is a family of chocolatiers. It says here, 6 romances, 1 revolution, and the story of a century. So you know my love of Russian history, and I'm really excited to dive into this one. It's also going to be interesting to read about chocolate making, because I don't feel like I've ever done that. I guess I have 2 Russian history. I don't know, I'm not really sure why, but I think because we are getting into winter season and I really enjoy reading winter books, I thought it would be really interesting to pick up this one. This book I actually just bought randomly at a used bookstore. I know absolutely nothing about it other than the fact that it is set in Leningrad in 1933, and it goes all the way up until the Second World War and the Siege of Leningrad, and it follows one character throughout. So it's going to be quite difficult to read. I know that much because I know that history quite well, but I'm excited. It's always kind of weird to say I'm excited, but I really, really like this type of history, and I really, really like these books. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see if I will like it. Next up, I have All the Light We Cannot See. I have not read this book, believe it or not. I really am excited to give it a try. I think it has quite mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people think it's kind of boring, but I really want to give it a shot before the movie comes out on Netflix, because I absolutely 100% definitely want to watch the movie. So this is on my list for November. Because I'm reading a lot of really sad books, I also threw in Legends and Lattes, because I definitely think I'm going to need a little bit more of a cozy vibe at some point when I'm reading all of this heartbreak, and I think this one's gonna be it. A couple other honorable mentions that I really want to try to get through in November, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I really want to try to read The Dollmaker of Krakow. This is a middle grade book all about a doll maker in Krakow in 1939, and it's magical realism. The doll that he is making comes to life. Sounds phenomenal, and so I really want to try and read it. I also want to try to read As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Kato. This has been on my list for a really long time, pretty much since it came out. This follows a Syrian family during the war, and it is also a middle grade book. Again, I've heard that it's both heartbreaking but has some hopeful elements to it. And then really randomly, that is not historical fiction at all, but just something that sounds really interesting, like great escapism, is the Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman. This is a world in which no one can die. They being humanity, has conquered death. And it's a YA book that follows a group of people who are trained to essentially weed out the population. So it sounds really, really good. Sounds really, really good, and it would be really cool to dive into a series in November. But I'm saying I want to try to get to those because as you can see, I have a lot of really big chunky books, and I'm also in the middle of 2 challenges for myself. One is going to take me a really long time, but the other is for the month of November, and that is, I've declared it to be Poe-vember. I really want to read the complete tales and poems of Edgar Allan Poe. I was talking about this before. My husband gifted me 100-year-old copies of his entire works for a wedding present. It was wonderful. I loved Poe in high school, and I'm really excited to revisit him as an adult. And the other thing that I'm reading right now is the complete Grimm's fairy tales. I am buddy reading this with a friend of mine, and we are basically reading 7 stories a week from now until
I think like May. I don't even know. It might be March. It's March or May. It's a very, very long time because, as you can imagine, there are a lot of stories. There are over 200. I believe it's 220 or 210. So I've tabbed it all out and I'm starting this week, 7 stories a week. I have a feeling it's going to be my Sunday tradition to wake up and read 7 fairy tales. I'm really excited. Not only am I German, my mother was born in the Black Forest, and actually both my brother and sister were born there too, so I have deep, deep roots in the land of Grimm fairy tales, and I'm really, really excited. I'm just having like the best reading time. I feel like coming off of my reading challenge, I'm just still in the biggest reading mood, and I'm excited to dive into a different genre and just experience a different way of storytelling and experience different histories. So that's my TBR. That was random, but I love books and I'm feeling it. And so now I am going to clean the kitchen, I'm going to shower, and I'm going to curl up and I'm going to keep reading my book. And we're just going to have the coziest night in because it's freezing.